You are listening to an exclusive on PodHub Network. Your city, your podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Back to the Burgh, presented by the PodHub Network. My guest today is from Steubenville, Ohio, and is the creator of every Pirate fan and AJ Burnett's favorite shirt, the Sit the F Down shirt. Please welcome my guest, Zack from Pittsburgh Clothing Company. Zack, what's up, buddy?
You got the name right. Good job.
I got it. Hey, we talked about that. I told you I'd get it.
Thanks for having me on. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no problem, man. You know, I've been following you for a long time, ever since Centerfield Smoke.
CF
The
Smoke.
good old days. CF Smoke was my shit. I loved it. But let's get to know you from, a ground level, from where you had your upbringing. We were talking about it before the podcast about you're from Steubenville, Ohio. And I kind of was like, oh, you're from Ohio? But then you educated me. So please share what you educated me with.
Steubenville, Ohio, the Burgh of the Burgh, as people in Pittsburgh might know from the old commercials. It's just right across the Ohio River. If you're driving fast, it's about 35 minutes to downtown Pittsburgh from Steubenville. But it's a small town. I grew up there, born and raised, and it's just a bunch of churches, banks, and pizza places. But I loved growing up there. I met a lot of great friends. And also it has the best pizza you ever have, Steubenville style pizza. I get a lot of shit for this.
See, I have to strongly disagree. I live in New Jersey.
You're one of those.
Well, you can't touch New Jersey pizza. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to tell me about it because I've never heard of New Jersey pizza. But
it's like New Jersey is about pizza and bagels. That's it. Okay. That's what they're known for.
Every single time I say anything about Steubenville pizza, Ohio Valley pizza, I get destroyed on Twitter. It's just, and mostly it's people who've never tried it. The cold toppings, bake the pizza, and then you put the cold toppings on afterwards. I think it's delicious. There are a few Pittsburgh places that do that. I haven't tried it, but I will soon.
Yeah, no. So we talked about the Burgh of the Burgh. That you said it was like a promotion campaign to get people to move to Ohio back in the day.
It was some kind of marketing campaign to get people to move to Steubenville to pay lower taxes. And they had this catchy jingle. But the thing is, I never saw it on TV because obviously I was in Steubenville. So people in Pittsburgh, WPA, they saw this commercial all the time. And like I mentioned, Alan Saunders tweeted about something Steubenville related last week, and everybody was bringing that up, the Burgh of the Burgh, the Burgh of the Burgh. So you have to bring it up on YouTube or something because it's something that's very dated. You can tell I think it was the 90s, but just one of those things.
Yeah, and then I want to give you my opinion on Ohio Valley pizza.
Sure.
I'm not a fan.
Okay.
I went to college in the Ohio Valley, and a lot of us that aren't from like that area, like we're from Western PA, but we're not from like the Ohio Valley. We would opt for Domino's over.
Oh, come on, man.
Over, I think it was D'Angelo's or something like that over in Wellsburg, West Virginia. I'm not a fan of Sicilian style or the cold toppings.
You're killing me. And you went to Bethany, that's right. So you were right by West Lib, and I almost went to West Lib, which would be, well, it wouldn't matter because I'm a little older than you.
Yeah.
But not much to do up on that hill, huh?
No, there's not. And we were lucky we had a Domino's 10 minutes down the road.
Right.
Domino's was closer than the nearest gas station. Funny enough.
Wow.
But now let's dive into you. Let's dive into growing up in Steubenville. Where'd you like to hang out? Like, were you just like, just hang out at school, or did you guys have a place that you went?
Man, we weren't the best kids growing up.
Best behaved.
We were always in trouble. The cool thing was, like our closest group of friends, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. So it was just, riding bikes to each other's houses, walking around. the neighbors, when they saw us walking around in a group, they kind of stayed away from us because we used to get into stuff. We used to get into stuff before we discovered drinking. And then once we discovered drinking at a younger age, high school, nobody saw us because we found these, places in the woods, back alleys, things like that. We got in a lot of trouble. We used to kind of just loiter at a Speedway.
Yeah.
There was a Speedway walking distance of our area that we hung out, and we would just sit there for hours. And when you're younger like that, that's like the greatest in the summertime. But we got in a lot of trouble growing up.
Gotcha. Now, did you hang out at any of the malls nearby? I think you got the St. Clairsville Mall nearby. There's Steubenville Mall, I think.
There is a Steubenville Mall, Fort Steuben Mall. I think it's still open. There's not much left to it. It's one of those. It's one of those dying malls. Sad, but at the time, 7th grade, 8th grade, when you start talking to girls and going to movies, we went to the mall, hung out at the mall, caused trouble in the mall. There's everybody does that kind of stuff, but
yeah, absolutely.
same, like grade school, go to the mall and the movies, high school parties, drink in the woods, things like that.
Hey, that's the typical, Western PA, Ohio Valley high school, like that's what you did. That's what we did. That's what we did. So it's nice to know you're just like the rest of us.
Yeah. I turned out just fine, I think.
Hey, we hope. So now let's talk about high school. Did you play any high school sports, or were you just like a fan of sports?
So Steubenville has two high schools. Steubenville High School and Steubenville Catholic Central. I went to Steubenville Catholic Central. I played football and baseball. We lost in the state championship my junior year, which was an awesome experience. Like, we went into every game in the playoffs as underdogs and got through to state, and then we got destroyed. But that was an awesome experience playing at Massillon Stadium. I'm not sure if you've ever.
I've heard of Massillon, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so that was a great experience playing football. Everybody, our school, I think we only had 300 to 400 people in the school. My graduating class had 79. It's like everybody, you play football. Everybody played football. We had a really good soccer team too, but we played football. That's just what we did. So that was just like a way of life. And then Steubenville High School, they had a lot of success while I was going through high school as well. They won a few state championships.
Yeah. So now, which one is? Because I know it's a big rivalry, the two high schools.
Well, it was.
It was. It's not anymore.
It was a huge rivalry when I was in grade school, and there was so much. I don't want to call it vandalism, or there was so much build up to the games. Like, houses would get egged. Houses would get egged. I don't know if there were fights or things like that, but they actually canceled the football game once I got to high school. So we never played against them when I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
Then again, we were D6, and I believe they're D3, D2 or D3. So
okay, because I know, like I went to college with people from Steubenville, and like some of them were, I think it's like Big Red, and the other ones, I don't know what the nickname is for the other one. Crusaders and Big Red, and like people didn't like each other. Right. It was weird.
I mean, in a way, I didn't mind, because I did make a lot of really good friends from Steubenville.
Yeah.
High school. So, it sucked to not have the rivalry, because like I grew up observing that. Like in Steubenville, it's football, in church on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's just like I was like in the middle of all that, because I had an older sister, and then like my aunts would bring me around it, and I actually somebody threw an egg at my head once when I was real young. And so I was thrust into the rivalry at a young age.
You got hit with that egg, and you're like, I'm pumped, I'm ready.
and I never got my retaliation, because it didn't happen. Damn. We played them in baseball, we played them in basketball, other sports, but football, they ended it. They they were looking out for, I guess, property damage.
Yeah.
Like we shared a stadium,
Okay.
and Harding Stadium was huge, huge for a high school stadium.
Yeah.
And they have this big scoreboard in the corner of the end zone. And at the top of the scoreboard, there's a horse. They're the big red, the like the stallion or whatever, and it blows fire. Really cool.
Oh wow.
In during Central Week, Steubenville Central students would climb up there and paint it blue, or there was a bunch of different things throughout the years that I remember as a kid observing and being like, oh wow, like I'm excited for that to happen when I get up to high school. And then it went away. So
It's really cool to think about like places that have rivalries like that. Like, so my aunt, she lived in Arizona for a long time, and she like got to observe the Arizona State rivalry. Like,
mhm.
you had the big A. I think it was the A belongs to Arizona State, but like Arizona would go up and they'd paint it blue and red, and you got stuff like that. And then for me personally, um, we had a rivalry with New Brighton High School, and
What high
like
school did you go to?
I went to Beaver,
Okay.
so our big rival was New Brighton, but it was kind of one sided from that aspect of like the pranks and the vandalism.
Mm.
They would do all that, and we would be like, all right, we're just going to play football. It was very, if I had to compare it to anything, it was very, like mid 2000s Steelers esque, where everybody tried to get under our skin, but we're like, we're just going to play you on the field.
And
Like,
then
that's where we're going to get our payback.
did you beat their ass?
Usually,
Okay.
when I got to high school, it was a little different story. I think I only beat them once. It's kind of
Jeez.
upsetting.
Yeah.
But they're like the kids that are my age that went to New Brighton High School. They were really good talents, and like they deserved to win. They were just coming up, through mighty mites and everything. They're all undefeated, and it's like, yeah, they're good. Like you can't get by it. But the couple things that they had done that I remember is they would always steal like a certain sign from our stadium, because we always had, the banners. They would steal a banner. I forget what it had on it. It had some sort of saying. And then the one time they got like confetti dicks,
Oh no.
and they put them all over our turf.
Oh,
And then that we played them away that year. And that same year we lost to them like in their house. And we all come out of the locker room. We have no clue where our bus is. So we're like literally just standing there where all the people are filtering out. And then you have the New Brighton student section just yelling at us like, "Oh, you guys suck," blah, blah, blah. And they're throwing cake at us because
cake.
we were the cake eaters from Beaver. We were the
No.
ones you have your cake and eat it too, whatever.
Yeah.
And they would throw cake at us. And then our coach comes out. He's like, "What are you guys doing? The bus is right there. Why are you getting harassed like this? Go to the bus." But
Jeez,
those
yeah.
are some of the good memories of, the high school rivalries that I had.
Yeah, those are
I
things
always
you
enjoy a
remember.
high school rivalry.
Absolutely. Especially, get creative like that. Throwing
Yeah,
cake.
we never got creative.
Hey man, if you backed it up on the field, good.
Most of
And
the time we did.
right.
So now let's move on to your college days. You're an Akron Zip, as I can see in the corner there.
Akron Zip.
What went into that decision to go up to Akron for school?
Well, I had a few colleges in mind. I didn't have a robust high school, accolades or anything like that academically, but I really didn't. It kills me now to think about, but in high school, I didn't really think about college. But it was a
Neither did
foregone
I.
conclusion that I was going. I knew I was going, but I never really put much thought into it. I never really put much thought into where I was going to go and how that experience was going to be. So, I mean, I had a few in mind, and I ended up at Akron. I went there to party one weekend with friends that were already there, and I was like, I'll go to Akron. And
Yeah.
and it was honestly from day one, I met so many lifelong friends at Akron, and I was there a few more years than I should have been. Did a few
Yeah.
victory laps,
It happens.
but my college experience, I do not regret one thing from it. It was a very positive experience for me. So, and I actually started the t-shirt design and selling in college. It
Yeah, I
was
wanted to get into that because we were talking about it last night.
right. It I actually got into college on a communications major as a communications major. I wanted to, as you can see, I'm not a good speaker. I'm not good on camera,
Yeah.
but I wanted to be. I wanted to go into sports media, and the first time I was on camera, I froze, couldn't do a thing. So that day, I decided I was changing my major, and I was like, I'm gonna get into graphic design because I had been designing and selling T-shirts, and at the time, it was custom ink. I'm sure you see those commercials.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the only thing. Like I didn't have Spreadshirt. I couldn't put shirts online with no risk and just sell them online. So I came up with this t-shirt design that was it was like a team kind of a shirt, and it said Akron beer pong on it. 07, 08. And there were black shirts with blue and gold print. And I ordered 300 of them. I started at this time, it was 2007. Yeah, it was 2007 still. So there was no Twitter. I mean, if Twitter was around, I wasn't on it yet. I didn't get onto Twitter until 2009.
Yeah.
But all there was Facebook. So I created a Facebook event with a picture, like a mock-up of the shirts, and like, listen, I'm selling these around campus. If you want one, send me a message. And I ordered 300 of them, got 5 boxes shipped to me from Custom Ink. Put them, and it was lucky because I lived in a dorm for a few months, and then I moved out of the dorms and moved into a house. If I was in the dorm, I would have no room for these shirts, but
Yeah.
I moved into a house, got the shirts, and then I would receive Facebook messages from people all around campus ordering shirts, like saying like, I want a shirt. And I would pack up my book bag with shirts, and on my way to class, I would stop at the dorms and I would sell shirts out of my book bag. And I think I like the cost of the shirts, since I bought so many, it ended up being like $7 a shirt, but I would charge, I charged $15 for the shirt. So I was making a lot of profit, and then, there was no Venmo. I don't even think there
No, it
was
was
really,
all cash, right?
and PayPal was really in the early stages at that time. So I was taking cash. Akron isn't, it's not the, where campus is, it's not the greatest part of town.
Yeah.
So like I was just walking around campus with
Hundreds of dollars.
hundreds of dollars, hundreds of dollars in cash. But it was awesome because I needed that. Like selling those T-shirts, I didn't have to get a job on campus or anything. That was pretty much my job, and I really enjoyed doing that. I ended up doing like 3 or 4 different designs in about 2 years, I believe 2 or 3 years, and it was great. It was very successful for me as a college student who needed that money. But yeah, it was a really cool experience, and I actually met a lot of people through that.
Yeah, and then you were telling me last night, and I was like, you were like, I don't really brag about it because like it's not something to brag about, or you were like, I don't know. The way you said it, you're like, I just don't talk about it. But you told me, and I was like, this is awesome because I'm a big stoolie, and you actually you designed a shirt for Barstool Sports before they blew up and became what they were, or what they are.
So okay, so after I would print the shirts and deliver them by hand, and I didn't have a car in college, so I was walking everywhere. So
you were really grinding.
I started getting into t-shirt designs online because I discovered Spreadshirt. That would have been in 2012, which that's another story, the way CF Smoke began.
Mm-hmm.
But right after CF Smoke was established, Big Papi, he did the speech at Fenway when he said, "This is our fucking city."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, the Sit the F Down shirt did so well. People love the censored, like the censored FUCK. I was like, that was really popular. I was like, I should make a Red Sox shirt that says, "This is our fucking city," with censored, kind of like the Sit the F Down shirt.
Yeah.
So I designed it quickly. It was actually, it originated, it was navy blue shirt with the red print in the Red Sox font. So it was like a Red Sox shirt.
Yeah.
And I think the first one I did, instead of a U in fucking, it was the Sox, like the Red Sox logo. But I sent it to Barstool because I was like, I'm not going to sell these on my Twitter because it's all Pittsburgh people. So I emailed it to Barstool, and that same day they got back to me and they were like, we love this idea. We can make a ton of money for the victims of the marathon bombing with this design. They're like, but we don't want it to be Red Sox specific because we just want it to be city specific. So, kind of basic. So I reworked, I talked to this guy, what was his name? I forget his exact name. I forget his name.
Was he a guy at Barstool?
It was their, the guy that handled their merchandise. I don't know if he's still.
It was Gaz?
No, it wasn't him.
Really? Because I thought he did all that stuff. Okay.
It was, I forget what his title was. He might not even actually worked for Barstool directly. They might have been like outsourcing at the time.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, was that around 2009?
No, it was if it was after Sit the F Down, then it was 2012, 2013.
Okay. Yeah. They might have been outsourcing that at the time then.
So
sorry, I'm terrible at dates.
Oh yeah. But he talked me through it. We were on the phone for over an hour talking through this design, how we're gonna change it.
Yeah.
And basically it just changed it to like a normal like an Arial font, and instead of the Sox as the U, it was the skyline with their area code. And I sent you
you sent it to me.
article, but I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, doing this work for these guys, and that, I mean, they were still pretty big at the time, but nothing like now.
Yeah.
And they kept me on as a contact after that. And I did a bunch of random shirts for them. And they actually, as they started getting bigger and bigger, like their payment used to be a bunch of shirts from their website. And at the time, I was like, oh, this is fine, because I was in college. I really just wanted my name out there. And on most of them, they did mention me. But eventually they were paying me $200 per design.
Oh,
but
wow.
It was like you have to, there's like, I need it right now. So so it was cool. It was really cool working for them. Sometimes I completely forget about it because because like CF Smoke and then Pittsburgh Clothing has gotten so big.
Yeah, it's gotten so big in itself. It's like you forget about the past,
Yeah, but actually that's something that like I have it listed like on my resume and my LinkedIn. Like
absolutely.
A link to the article about how much money they raised with that design and things like that. So
yeah. So let's backtrack then, since CF Smoke started before that story. I'm sure people are going to get confused now that I did that. But
we went out of order, but
okay. Who cares? But let's talk about CF Smoke, because that's how I found you. Basically, that's how I got introduced to everything. And I want to know the origin. Where did the origin come from? Was the Sit the Fuck Down shirt, was that the origin? Or I think you were making stuff before that too.
Well, not counting the Akron shirts, not counting the Akron beer shirts. This is now, I'm online, but I didn't really know anything. And this is my favorite story, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. So the Pirates were playing the Dodgers. August game. It was a day game. Yep. My friend Chris is a huge Dodgers fan. He finally got his World Series. Couldn't be happier for him. He finally got his World Series. But he's a huge Dodgers fan. He lives in Ohio. So anytime the Dodgers are in Cleveland, Cincinnati, or Pittsburgh, he goes to all three games. So we went to the game the night before, and he wanted to go to the day game again. And he was like, "Are you coming?" And I was like, "You know what? I got to go to class. I can't skip class. Like I had to go to my, I think it was like a noon class or like 11 a.m. And I was like, I cannot skip this class. So I went to class. I'm back at my apartment. I would watch every Pirates game on my laptop on MLB TV. And, AJ strikes out Hanley Ramirez. Well, let's go back. Hanley Ramirez hits a home run off AJ, does his eyes thing. AJ thinks he was doing that to him, trying to show him up. Later on, the next at bat, AJ strikes him out, and he's still mad about him showing him up. So, sit the F down, storms off the mound. And I see that I saw it happen on my screen. And I'm like, did he just say sit the F down? I was like, that's awesome. I was like, that's a t-shirt. And I immediately went to Twitter and I searched sit the F down. And I was like, maybe other people saw it. I was like, I just want to make sure before I work on the shirt. What do you know? All these tweets. AJ Burnett just said, sit the fuck down to Hanley Ramirez. I was like, I got to do this now. So I came up with the design. It's very straightforward. Pirates colors and font, skull and crossbones, censoring the word fuck. And I was ready to go, and I had no way to sell it really. I was like, okay, I could post this on Twitter. What am I going to do? I was like, I'm not going to order a bunch of shirts because I live in Akron and these would be being sold to Pittsburgh people. So then I thought of, at the time, the only established t-shirt guy in Pittsburgh that seemed pretty popular was the Classy Yinzer. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yeah, I remember the Classy Yinzer.
So, at that time, that's when Twitter's still very, it's nothing like it is today. In 2012, if you get 30 retweets, that's like going viral,
Yeah.
in 2012.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this guy, he seems pretty popular on here. Like, you always saw his stuff and you always saw his tweets. He was like one of the more popular accounts at that time. And I was like, I'm going to send him this design and maybe I can make some money from it. So I sent him the design. He was all about it. He's like, all right, yeah, we're going to sell this. He was like, if so many sell, then you'll get this much. And, I'm a young, naive college kid. I just wanted people to wear this shirt.
Yeah.
So the next day, I pushed it on my Twitter. I still have the tweets. If you search "fuck" from Pittsburgh Clothing Company, you can find the original STFD tweet, which is really great.
Yeah.
It's great to look back at that. But the next day, I wake up and I go on Twitter and I see the Classy Yinzer posting all these t-shirt, like 3 or 4 different t-shirt designs of his own version of Sit the F Down. And I was pissed.
So he didn't even take your design. He just reworked it or something?
Yeah. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? And he was like, well, your design was okay, but I wanted to put my own twist on it and sell it myself. So I was like, fuck this. And I figured out how he sold his shirts through Spreadshirt. So I went on his site, saw that he sold through Spreadshirt, and I was like, I'll just do this myself.
Yeah.
Did it myself, set up my Spreadshirt account. And at the time, my website was zackdelise.com because I had a portfolio website for school. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of piggybacked that. And so it was like sending people to zackdelise.com. Like, you couldn't even pronounce my name. How are people going to spell it? Yeah. It didn't last very long, but I had the shirts up there. I was posting them on Twitter. People were buying them, I think the first couple of weeks, like 15, 20, 30, like that was huge at the time. Like, I was like, this is so great. Selling shirts. I don't have to worry about printing them. I don't have to worry about shipping them. I just have to worry about marketing them. So, it's Pirate season goes on, and 2012, that's when they collapsed. They collapsed in the dog days. It was around the time when they collapsed, August into September. But, I just continued living my life. And then one day I was playing Madden with my buddy Jamie at my apartment, and I get a buzz from Instagram. And I look at my phone, and it's AJ posing in the Sit the F Down shirt. Like, I didn't even think about trying to get him one. I was like, how would I do that? Like, how would I? Like, he wasn't on social media.
More specifically, it was your design and not the Classy Yinzers, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So
that's awesome.
So I didn't even think about trying to get him one because, first of all, he wasn't on social media at all at that time, and I didn't even. That's not something that crossed my mind this early in the game. So what it came down to was, it was from his wife's account. His wife saw the shirt. His wife bought the shirt. His wife gave him the shirt, and I'm assuming Karen said, "Hey, listen, I want you to take a picture so I can post it online."
Yeah.
And that's
Then
when
it blew up.
absolutely blew up. I mean, Jamie and I never finished that Madden game. That's how excited I was. That's how excited I was. Like, I can't believe this, and
Yeah.
it was just the greatest sight. That, I mean, it was like instant success right there. Like, I didn't care how many sold after that. I was just happy that it happened, that, he got it and posted the pic. And obviously it was a bestseller for years.
Oh yeah.
AJ really embraced the whole thing. And then he got on social media and he started using the hashtag STFD. We had so many different versions of it, like camo version. Like AJ and I, we came up with all these different ideas for sure.
So you worked personally with
Mhm.
AJ Burnett with the shirt?
Yeah, like after CF Smoke blew up, well, I'm trying to think when I actually decided to change the name. It was I want to say it was probably a few months after that, because it was still ZackDeletes.com, and I was like, this isn't gonna work in the long term because it's just too difficult.
Yeah.
So so I came up with Centerfield Smoke. I always said that if I ever had a blog, it would be called Centerfield Smoke, because it would be a Pirates blog, and
Exactly.
Centerfield Smoke is something that Pirates fans understand, but probably not other fans of other teams, unless you've been to PNC Park and you've seen smoke. So I thought it was a creative, unique name, and that was really cool for years. The name CF Smoke. See, I feel like I'm definitely going out of order with this story, but AJ and I, we did work very closely together, and he was big. He was big on the shirts. Like, he had to have a certain shirt for pregame, and he had to have a certain hoodie for postgame. So it was awesome, providing him with stuff like that, because then you see it on TV and then people want it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's all it takes. That's all it takes is the right person wearing your product, and then once it gets on the internet, it spreads like wildfire. So
Yeah, absolutely. So then what, like, obviously you see the success of that shirt. At what point are you like, okay, let's make more?
same week, once AJ wore it and it really started selling, I was like, I need to do more. I think my second shirt was a Michael McHenry shirt. It said the fort on it. It was, it was just text the fort, and it had like the whatever the towers from a fort and the flags. I mean, it was cool. He was a fan favorite at the time, and it just kept going and going and going. Just trying to come up with different things. But at first, it was all Pirates.
Yeah, it was.
And gradually, I got into I got into hockey last, and hockey actually ended up being one of my most successful sections of the site. I mean, like, Penguins fans on Twitter are great with supporting and sharing and letting everybody know.
Yeah, I feel like the reason that might be is because, like, Steelers, everybody loves Steelers everywhere, right? So people are probably selling Steelers stuff everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Pirates are just like, they're a historic team, but like through the years they don't play as well. But that's probably why they have so much. Like, they might not be as successful on your sites because you can get Pirate stuff other places. But I don't think there was ever a place where you could just get Penguin stuff.
Right. Like the unique, unlicensed.
Exactly. The unique, unlicensed stuff. I think you kind of capitalized on that first.
And like being able to focus on individual players, maybe players that don't have their own jersey at Dick's or Jersey. And something that always bothered me, and I say this was like my tagline when CF Smoke first started. I hate seeing people wearing Steelers jerseys at Pirates games.
Yeah.
So I said I started the t-shirt business because I want to get people to stop wearing Steelers jerseys to Pirates games.
Hey, that's a good thing to run your business by in Pittsburgh, I think, because
right.
you see Steeler jerseys at every sporting event. It doesn't have to be a Steelers game. So that's that's awesome that that's kind of what drove you.
Yeah, it's it was something that I've always been passionate about. Like very loud. Stop wearing Steelers jerseys to Pirates games. It's something stupid. I mean, people do it all the time still. But the Pirate shirts really, I'd say they were very successful starting off also because individual people go to multiple games a week, a month, a year, and they don't always want to wear the same thing. So if somebody could wear a shirt supporting the starting pitcher that day, then that's one thing. And it's, summertime, it's nice out, you're wearing a short sleeve t-shirt. But it took a while to really get into Steelers stuff because people wear jerseys to games,
Yeah.
You go to Heinz Field, you see, 80% jerseys. And that's not to mention when it gets cold, then it's, jackets and jerseys, hoodies and jerseys. So yeah, it's like all that kind of stuff that I think about going into it.
The thing is though, I think it's funny that you say that. The first shirt that I bought from CF Smoke was a Steelers shirt.
Which one? Do you remember?
They shot me in Denver.
Yes.
I saw that and I was like, I need it because I was in college at the time. We had just beat the Bengals, right? And then we had to play Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was that year. Yeah. Because I was super hyped about the Bengals. Like, that's a whole nother story. We were throwing beer and popping bottles in the fucking dorm room. Like, it was a mess. Oh, yeah. But like, that was so exciting. I was like, okay, I need something like specifically for this game. And that's when I bought the shirt. I bought that, and then I bought it was a crew neck. It's the Spread Love, it's the Pittsburgh way.
Yes.
Those were my first two purchases from your website.
That's awesome. That's another, like you mentioned that they shot me in Denver. Like, people love that video. People love that.
Absolutely.
That whole thing. And I mean, where are you gonna find a shirt that says they shot me in Denver on it? So like, that's a thing that I take.
And it's a conversation starter too.
Absolutely.
Because people are like, why do you have a shirt that says that? It's like, well, let me show you this video from 2005 of Joey Porter freaking out in the locker room. Awesome. So that's why I liked it. Because like, I'm a personable person. Like, I like to talk to people. So it's like, if I could wear a shirt to watch a Steelers game in West Virginia to get people to like talk football with me,
right?
That's the shirt to wear.
Absolutely. Yeah, conversation starters, man. I get that a lot. I get, hey, like, this person wanted to know what my shirt was about, and I became friends with them, or stuff like so. Like, when you see something that isn't your cut and dry Pittsburgh Steelers in the logo, like, people spend a little more time seeing what it is, especially if it has some weird quote on it and other things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's talk about, you mentioned Penguins is your best seller. Now let's talk about the back-to-back Penguins run, because I feel like you capitalized a lot on that.
Unbelievable. And I want to say, it's funny you mentioned the cup. I mean, you have, like, if you're selling t-shirts and you don't benefit from your team winning the championship, then you're doing it absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
But okay, so when that happened, my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, we went on a cruise, and I knew it was going to happen. We flew down to Florida, and our cruise was leaving the next day. The boat was leaving the next day, and that night was the game. Was it Game 6 that they won?
I think so. Yeah.
So we watched the game at the hotel, and I had all the shirts ready to go. And obviously they won, and I had it out, and I had to go on a cruise. And I didn't think I had any Wi-Fi. I didn't think I was going to have any access to Twitter or anything like that. I ended up having it, but at the time, I want to say Smitty, Zack Smith.
Yeah.
He was running one of those ego accounts. I forget which, maybe Bonino.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Why did I? Whoa! Because I'm friends with him. Like, I know him. Like, we know each other.
Did I just break
friends in real life.
Did I just break news? No.
Either you broke news or I'm just too dumb to remember.
And Smitty, sorry if that wasn't you. I'm pretty sure one of them was
I'm
him.
pretty sure somebody. It was either him. I'm pretty sure Nick Gregoric was running the Ego, maybe, or maybe it was the Kessel Ego.
It was actually the HBK. It was the HBK, the three egos. So I pulled all those guys, the ego accounts, into one DM on Twitter, and I was like, listen, I'm going on a cruise, and I'm not gonna be able to push these shirts. I was like, can you guys just send a tweet or two a day pushing these shirts? And I'm pretty sure I sent them free shirts.
Yeah.
I hope I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
Well, now you're recorded saying it, so yeah, I hope you did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I sent them shirts, but I was just like, listen, I need you to send these tweets because they just won the cup. I had like 6 new shirts out that weren't released until they won, obviously, but they were ready, and I just didn't want to miss out on any potential sale because I was on vacation. And believe me, I would never go on a cruise again post COVID.
Yeah.
It was just a great time because I was so relaxed, and the Pens just won the cup. So then the next year was obviously even better because I had even more shirts ready. I feel like Nashville was just more satisfying too. Their fans were so loud. I don't remember San Jose fans at all. Like I don't.
No, it was kind of like, where are they? Nobody
did nothing.
Nobody's talking. But when Nashville came around, that's when it felt like, okay, this is a real Stanley Cup almost.
Yeah, the catfish and all that.
Yeah,
man, that was fun. Are we ever gonna experience that again?
Yeah, who knows?
But one memory from the lead up to the build up to this first cup was Mikey and Big Bob they hung a shark out over the
I remember that
over the parkway. That was just like one of those things that you remember the Stanley Cup run, and you remember that you just remember seeing that and how funny that is. So good times. We're spoiled as a fan base, but it feels
I've said this a multitude of times, and it was DiNardo that was actually like, oh my God, like I've never heard that. That's amazing. I said, people think we're spoiled as a fan base, right? But in reality, we're humbled by the Pirates.
Yeah.
Like the Steelers can win, the Penguins can win, but what brings us down to earth is knowing that
the
Pirates are still down there on the North Shore, just being awful.
I just pray that if the Pirates do ever win in my lifetime, that I'm not going to be too old to like really celebrate, because the parades are huge, but if the Pirates won, it would be just unbelievable.
Dude, a Pirates parade.
It was just.
If I'm still in New Jersey, I'd have to take a flight out just for the day.
Absolutely, it would be bigger than all the recent Penguins parades.
Absolutely,
just because we've been waiting for so long, and being a Pirates fan has been so painful and difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, just because like recency bias in my mind, I just watched the documentary of the Penguins, like their history, and Paul Steigerwald, he was the marketing director in the 90s. He's trying to market this young team to Pittsburgh because they were the forgotten franchise.
Right.
And he was like, the most satisfying moment for him working with the Penguins was the 2009 Cup in the parade, because I'm getting chills right now talking about it, because when he looked out into the crowd, he saw a bunch of young faces with these young players on their backs. And he was like, we did it. We solidified hockey in Pittsburgh, finally.
That run was so awesome.
And that, like, I got chills, because it's like, obviously he had the 2 in the 90s, but it was like for him in a career to come for full circle in that aspect of his career and see all the young faces in 2009 come out to the parade. Like, that's just
absolutely
storybook. That's storybook.
Especially after losing the year before, same team.
Yeah.
But yeah, spoiled fan base somewhat with a successful football team every year. I mean, they have a winning record every year, but it's getting old, something needs to change. but people don't care about my sports opinions. We get back to
At
shirts.
least not yet.
Right.
So now let's talk about, you did some reworking of some old logos, and you put those on t-shirts. You call it your history section of the website?
The tab is it's history. It's like pghclothing.com/history, but I call it the throwback project. It's something that when the rebrand happened in 2017, it's something that came along with it. I think even the teams that were only around a year or two, like the Maulers, the Condors, the Pipers, who won a championship, all those teams, I was so interested in those teams, and I think like their logos were so cool.
Yeah.
And I always wanted shirts and different things with the logos on them. Like the Pipers have an awesome logo, the Condors, Maulers, the Hornets, pretty much. I mean, Phantoms. Every one of those teams on there is just new. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different because they're not black and, well, a few of them are, but they're not black and gold. It's a basketball team. It's a Pittsburgh basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really interested in that. Like I looked up the history on pretty much every team, and I really just wanted to revive the teams in a way that, like, I get people all the time that actually like grew up like around these teams. So like with the older guys, the older folks, they love buying a Pittsburgh triangle shirt. The Wrens, that's another cool one.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be able to kind of revive that, and I think you can't really get a Pittsburgh basketball shirt, so
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so like revive some history. But I redid all those logos and got them to the correct resolution, and that I'm able to sell it on a T-shirt. And yeah, it's been very, very popular. And I feel like it kind of gets lost on the website because like you get there and you have baseball, football, hockey, soccer, golf, and it says the tab. Maybe I should rethink the tab because it says history. People might think it's like history of the business. I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But something I just thought of that just now because sometimes
I do that a lot.
Sometimes it gets lost, but it's cool. I actually every once in a while I'll get a shirt. I actually I have to pay for it because I don't print them and I don't ship them.
Yeah.
So I have to pay out of pocket, and every once in a while I'll get a shirt. There's one popular out, but I have almost every one of the throwback project shirts just because it's cool and it's a conversation starter, like you said.
Yeah.
Shirts are conversation starters. You wear any of those teams out constant, like not constant.
Someone's gonna be like, "What's that?"
All the time, or even no, it's like people that recognize a Condor shirt, like whoa,
that too. Yeah.
Whoa, like where'd you get a Condor shirt that isn't faded and isn't old? Like it's on the new, like the modern T-shirt. Heather T-shirts and soft, the good shirts,
Yeah. So the one that like spoke to me, whatever you want to say, the one that stood out to me was the Pittsburgh Bulls.
The Bulls,
because I got into lacrosse in college. Like I didn't play, but I did a lot of announcing, and that's something that I'll always take away from my college experience is lacrosse. And whenever I learned about, like, I saw the Bulls on your website, and I was like, "What? Who are the Pittsburgh Bulls?"
Yeah.
So I had to look it up. Found out it was an indoor box lacrosse team, and I was like, "I need that right now." Like that's And it's really cool to figure out like all these old teams. Like I'm trying to like obviously the Condors and like the ABA team, and like the Hornets hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
People just either forget about it or never even knew about it.
Never even knew about it. Yeah. So the younger generation, they learn some things, and Wikipedia has it all. And there's a lot of great stories out there for some of these teams, like the Pipers.
Yeah.
And there's another one. There's another one that the Spirit. The Spirit is really a really popular one. I mean, it's an awesome logo. It's black and gold, but the Spirit indoor soccer, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So
now let's talk about there was something that had come up this past year. You were trying. It seemed like you were trying to expand your brand, and you made a shirt similar to one that you have for Pittsburgh. It's
Huh.
what is it?
I know where this is going.
Yeah, it's I forget what's the Pittsburgh shirt. Cleveland hates me or something like that.
There was a black and gold Cleveland hates me, and
Yes,
there was a brown and orange Pittsburgh hates me.
yes. So we have to talk about that just because of recency bias. I personally thought it was a great, marketing scheme to try and widen your fan base, but obviously you'll tell the story of what happened.
It was just it was a simple idea. It didn't take long. It was text. It was just for the trolls, man.
Yeah.
There's so many trolls on Twitter. I'm not gonna call them trolls. They're not trolls. There's so many passionate people on Twitter for sports teams, and you see it all day, every day. It's constant back and forth. Not anymore because the Browns are still alive, but
Yeah.
constant back and forth. Like they were Steelers fans and Browns fans were fighting like in like March.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had nothing better
bad.
to do during the first quarantine. But it was just something that I thought was fun. If you're very loud about rooting for the Steelers or the Browns on Twitter, then it makes sense for you. Like there are probably a lot of people that say that they hate Gabby and Sir Yacht. I mean, they're awesome people. But they're good at what they do because they get attention from Steelers.
And most of the time it's not positive attention.
Right. And that's their goal though. So they're good at what they do. And I mean, I think a lot of it, the backlash, a lot of it was because of the way Gabby expressed herself in front of the city. I didn't like that either. But, what are you going to do? So.
Yeah, it's kind of just, you ask them to, hey, can you market this shirt for me? And it's like, that's the only way she knows how to market it.
Right.
And honestly, it's the best way for her. I think what she does is awesome. It's really just like, because she doesn't, like, people want to say she says bad things about people. No, she doesn't.
People say bad things about her.
Yeah, people say bad things about her, which
Awful.
leads her to exposing who they are on the internet.
Yeah, it's
like
not
people in her DMs.
Not a way. The way people act, it's not. It's like I need Twitter to sell T-shirts and stuff like that. The way people behave on there, nameless, faceless people.
Nameless gray faces, man.
Nameless.
You got to make a shirt out of that.
I did.
You did? I didn't see it.
Well, it was relevant for like a day, but Brown. Well, no, I think it's relevant because Tomlin's been saying this since he got here.
It's true.
It's about every opponent. It's a play on the Detroit versus everybody, but it says Pittsburgh versus nameless gray faces.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was simple. I got it done quickly, like right after Juju said that.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to do something, and that was just a quick, easy idea that came to life, and maybe it'll be popular next year because it's literally about the Steelers' opponent every week. So
yeah, you could literally let's brainstorm an idea right here. You could make a shirt that has like a Steelers player looking out into a crowd of other football players. You could have the team colors or whatever, and just have gray faces over top the helmets.
You avoid any kind of trademark infringement too with the
exactly. We just made a T-shirt. I love it. I should do this for a living.
Collaboration.
Now, since I brought up the Cleveland story, are there other products that you're looking to do to try and expand your brand a little?
No, I'm pretty comfortable with just Pittsburgh. Actually, well, I do a few things for the Ohio Valley because that's where I came from. Yeah. So like the Ohio Valley pizza shirt, I don't know if you saw that. I got some shit for that. But like people from
remember it.
like my friends from home all bought it. So like, there's nothing better than somebody you grew up with supporting your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
But during CF Smoke days, I was in Akron. So I was around all the Cleveland sports and all that kind of stuff. So I had a ton of Indians designs for sale. I had a few Browns ones, and I did that because I knew it was just like somebody asked for it, and I did it, and it ended up coming out really cool. It was just the state of Ohio with in orange with the Browns helmet stripe down the middle. I mean, I'm sure it's been done millions of times, but it ended up ended up being successful. And with CF Smoke, I like, to answer your question, I really branched out with CF Smoke.
Yeah.
But then I knew when I rebranded, I knew that I was going to have to pretty much stay to Pittsburgh only. Just, it's the name. I've done a few outside things, like I made a shirt based off of Michael Jordan and the documentary, and like Darren Rovell tweeted it. So like that immediate success right there, because you get a Rovell endorsement.
Yeah.
Guess any endorsement with over 1 million followers, I don't care who it is, that's success right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I have no. That's kind of why I'm trying to get into every like little aspect, like the defunct sports teams. And then I really would like to start a neighborhood series of shirts, just kind of touch on every neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Just I do have a Bloomfield shirt, but it kind of went along with my Italian shirts, because the Little Italy and the Italian festival over there, the Italians.
Yep.
But I really want to get into like the neighborhoods. I want the city section to expand more, because sometimes people aren't interested in sports shirts when they're losing.
Yeah.
This week, it sucks. Like Tim and I, Tim Shady on Twitter. Tim and I, we brainstorm all day, every day about different things, and like we have, I don't know if it's evident or not, but our social media, like we have a social media strategy that we follow. We have this huge spreadsheet of every 365 days, just tons of events that happened every single day of the year. It's like when we did our PGH history.
Yeah.
That's all planned out. Sometimes we won't post one, like we wouldn't post a Steelers history on the Monday after they lose to get knocked out,
Yeah.
So, just everything that goes into it, the Twitter strategy, and that's not even talking about t-shirts. Like this year I kind of got into highlight videos for the rivalry games, like the division games, and those did really well. Basically my goal all the time is just eyeballs. I need eyeballs on the Twitter page. I need eyeballs on my website, because I don't invest money into advertising. Yeah. I mean, I don't invest in any kind of advertising. So I need Twitter. And, if I'm posting t-shirts and ads all day, it becomes boring, and people
nobody wants to watch it, or
people are bored. So, our social media strategy is just stay relevant, and sometimes, I deal with idiots all the time, man. We all do.
Yeah.
We all do. But people think they can say whatever they want to a brand, a company, because people don't expect a response. People don't respect people act like there isn't another human on the other side. Like, okay, like I could see like those huge accounts, the huge brands like Nike or any, like, actually the sports accounts have gotten a lot better with responding to trolls too.
Yeah, they have.
And it's something new every day, but I love it. It makes life so much more interesting.
Yeah. Now you mentioned you're starting to do like the Pittsburgh history videos and like the rivalry videos. And before we started, you said that the Power Hour that you released, that was your baby. And it's something that really resonated with me as someone who in college, that's how we got ready to go out during the night, or before the night started, we'd sit down for an hour, do a Power Hour, drink 6 beers, you're ready to go, So I want to know what went into the Power Hour and just the journey that you went through, because obviously with all those moments, it had to be a journey. It's a journey to watch.
What's the word? Is it passion project? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
This was so it was right when COVID hit. and I was moved from my office is in Carnegie. I work for the Salvation Army, primary graphic designer,
Hmm.
and I was moved to work from home. And in doing that, I realized that I gain about 3 hours a day. 3 hours, I'm not getting up 2 hours early, not driving out there, not showering before work. Sometimes I probably should, but I realized I have all this extra time, and I got things done, but I had more time. And then Power Hour is also something that we did in college. We always did pop Power Hour, so like Backstreet Boys and Sync, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And one of our buddies had a CD or DVD or something, and it had, because I'm old, and when I was in college, DVDs were still a thing. Um, it had the music videos, so a minute of each music video, and you take a shot of beer, and man, like just thinking about how fun that was, as a group with your friends. And I mean, fast forward to March, and I was doing the brackets to fill some time to get more eyeballs on the Twitter account. I did all
Yeah.
those. I think I did a beer bracket and I did a pizza bracket, which is very controversial. But that's for another day. Um, my friend who I was playing the Madden game with in college, he's from Philly, huge Philly fan. He sent me a Philly version of a Power Hour. It started out, the intro had Rocky, it had all these different movie scenes, and Always Sunny, like
Yeah.
different movie and TV clips to get you hyped up. As this like the trailer, and then cut in, and it was all Philadelphia sports, but it wasn't in chronological order. So
Oh.
I'm like, it would. Well, first I searched for a Pittsburgh one, and I really didn't find one. I found something similar that was very old, and I was like, you know what? I was like, this would be really cool to do, and like so many people would appreciate this. I was like, but it's so much time to put into.
Oh yeah.
So what I did, I pitched my idea to Tim, and he was all about it. And I was like, shit. I was like, he's gonna want me to do this now. He's gonna want to do this now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I can put the time into this, because it's just so much. And then he created a Google Doc. That's what we do. We have these Google Docs, and he created a Google Doc to start planning it. So like, the obvious clips. You start out with the obvious clips, like, okay, like Super Bowl, San Antonio Holmes, all the obvious things. And I was like, you know what, let's do it. Like, I was like, I'm home all the time. I'm on my computer all the time. I'm gonna put the time into this. And I actually spent the first few days focused on the trailer, because I knew that was the most important part, because that's what I posted to Twitter to get people to go to YouTube to do the Power Hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is actually good, because like, there are a lot of movies filmed in Pittsburgh, but not so many that you have to sift through them,
Yeah.
So I went through and I got like the movie scenes, and Tim was a great help in this. He found some great ones, and like that trailer came together so nice. Like it was like almost like a happy accident the way it came together. I was getting clips and just putting them into like the video editing software, and the way it flowed right from the beginning. I was like, this is going to be amazing. And I was like, now I have to put the time, like I call it the boring part, is actually figuring out the Power Hour.
Yeah.
Because
Like all the plays and when they
yeah,
come and the
you have to,
chronological order
and some of them, like some plays aren't you can't get a whole minute out of the clip, and it's finding the clips, and everything went into it. And I was like, it has to be chronological. I was like, I think it adds a lot to it.
yeah. A lot of
So
anticipation, I think.
right. So then I had to like date check everything, and I had to make sure, like, I still have the notes. I'm like old school in that regard. I have a notebook with notes, sketches.
Wow.
My like when I'm actually working my job, my to-do list is written out. Like I don't use my phone or my computer for any of that kind of stuff. Old school,
Yeah.
But it's just I want to say it really just came together in like 2 weeks. but
It only took you 2 weeks to do
I'm
that?
pretty sure it took about 2 to 3 weeks. And then the thing that sucks though is like kind of like keeping it to yourself, because I wanted to hype that so bad, but
Yeah.
I knew that if I posted the trailer without the power hour, then the power hour would get no attention whatsoever once I finally posted it.
Yeah.
It was exciting. It's one of those things you get really excited about to release to the public. Like you think you come up with a really good T-shirt idea, and you get excited to release it out into the public to get the reaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, it's one of those things where it has a few thousand views on. Like I wasn't expecting like 50,000, but the thing is, like those 1,000 views, like a lot of them are people actually doing it, because like you can look at
You can
YouTube.
see like the time that people have
Mhm.
watched, and yeah.
And then I learned how to stream. So I was streaming power hours every, Friday night,
Yeah.
which I thought was awesome on Periscope, I think it
Yep.
is. Yeah. Just like people chatting during it and being like, "Oh, I forgot about this play," or "This is awesome," like stuff like that. Just it makes all the time put into it worth it. And it's something like obviously I couldn't get money from YouTube because I don't none of the clips, like a lot of them are protected.
Yeah.
Most of the NHL, the newer NHL ones. But that wasn't a big deal to me because I just know that it's like they aren't taking it down and it's there for good.
Especially when something's a passion project, it's like you don't do it for the money. You do it for
Right.
the satisfaction.
Right. And it's like you were like one of the first people to actually tweet and say, "I just did the power hour. It's awesome." And stuff like personal messages like that is just that's where I do it. Like,
Yeah.
that was awesome to me. And just getting the reaction, and that's just something I did. Like I worked from home for a few months, and then I went back, and then I came and then I was back home again, and I was back in the office. It was a lot of back and forth. Ridiculous, man. This COVID shit needs to.
No, I agree. I mean, I guess you could say, unfortunately, I work a job where I can't work from home.
Mhm.
So it's like, I don't know. You're just like, when am I not going to be able to go in, or is it going to get bad enough that I'm not going to be able to go in, or the whole COVID situation has threw a lot of people off. But I think, like we just discussed, like good things have come out of it. Like this
Right.
podcast came out of COVID,
Absolutely right.
and that your power hour came out of COVID, which obviously your power hour is much more successful than my podcast. So
I don't. I wouldn't say that.
I
Actually,
would.
I should tweet that out tonight. Power hour.
Hell yeah, let's do power hour tonight. I'm down.
Well, I can't do it because I'm doing beer free January,
Oh, that's not fun.
and it's tough. Like today football.
But wait, I gotta point out you said beer free because you are
I-
sipping on something tonight.
yes, just beer, because I did it last year, and I lost like 15 pounds just from not drinking beer.
Yeah, that's how it happens. And now that I graduated college, I don't drink as much anymore, but
Mhm.
like I'm still pretty damn big. So what happened?
It's just it's one of those things, like everybody tries something new at New Year's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, I figured I would try it. And with me, I don't drink the light beers. I drink the IPAs.
So it's even heavier.
I'm
Okay.
a total beer snob. So
Oh, you're one of
I
those.
yeah, I won't drink anything, like if I'm drinking the IPAs, the heavy stuff, like if it's under 5%, I'm not drinking it because it's not worth the price, and it's not worth, it's not worth a ridiculous calorie intake and
Yeah.
that. But you have a few of those. Like I don't know how true this is, but I heard that like a hazy IPA is like eating a whole loaf of bread. So if that's true, then it just
Maybe. I mean,
makes me feel disgusting. So
yeah, right. That's a lot of carbs. That's a shit ton of carbs.
but there's so many good beers though. It's like I
Yeah,
didn't.
so I was talking to Jordan DeFigio about beers because it's kind of part of her podcast. Her podcast is about sports, but she also brings beer into it.
Right.
Um, and like how I just started getting into like the different beers, and I'm not an IPA guy. I know that. Like I'm not into the bitterness or anything, but I did find a very nice shandy, and I like to talk about it anytime I get a chance.
Okay.
It's like I couldn't even tell you what it's called because like the name on it, I can't pronounce it. Like I honest to God don't know what it says. But
Kugels?
it's not Leinenkugel, but it is like a lemonade shandy.
Okay.
Like the reason I bought it was because the can, it looks like, you go to the carnival and you get your fresh made lemonade. Like it looks like the cup that they give you.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's what drew me to it first. Like I didn't even know what it was. And then I saw it, read it, and I was like, I need this. And now right now that's my favorite beer to drink.
Can you just get that like Giant Eagle, or is it at a certain place?
I got it at a beer distributor out here.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I'm in Jersey.
Jersey. Okay, so it's at a beer distributor. That's cool.
Yeah, I think Jordan did say there were a couple places she found that she could buy it, but you'd have to either talk to her about it or look it up yourself. So
okay. But yeah, I mean, sticking on with beer and the Power Hour, those Iron City commercials are just unbelievable. So good.
Dude,
so good.
Okay, so a little inside baseball here. I had an idea when I was with Jagoff Sports, right? I told them, I said, hey, I'm going to come back to Pittsburgh for a weekend, and we should do this. We should remake Iron City beer commercials with us. Because like you had me and Ev is basically me, but 2 feet taller. So he's a heavy set, tall dude. And then you had Steve, who's like kind of lanky, whatever. And it's like, we have all the characters we need right here.
Yeah,
we could have remade so many commercials and we never got to it. And that's one of my biggest regrets. You
gotta keep that in your back pocket. And I don't know
exactly.
I want to cut this out because somebody's gonna hear that and they're gonna.
Someone's gonna steal it, right?
Yeah.
No, I'll keep it in. If someone wants to steal it,
Barstool Yinzer is gonna go.
Oh yeah, Barstool Yinzer. I don't know if they have the manpower to film anything themselves. But we'll fray away from talking crap on anybody.
Right. Yeah. Don't get me started on like content theft.
Yeah, that's a conversation that stays in the DMs. I think I know everybody I talk with. I'm like, yo, we can't talk about this anywhere else.
Right.
But anyway, thank you, Zach, for coming on. It's been really fun, and we're gonna have to set up a time to do. Obviously not in January, but we'll have to set up a time for us to do a Power Hour together. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, live Power Hour. I don't know if it would make sense to be like on camera, but
yeah,
I don't know if people want to see me shoveling beer into my mouth.
Hey,
that would be fun.
I'll do it. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, let's set it up, and I wonder if we could just do it live. Oh man, that would
That's
be.
What I was going to talk to you about it after we stopped recording, but if you want to talk about it now,
no, I think it'd be cool. But if we did it live, so everybody else could do it with us.
Yeah,
so you got to watch what we say.
We'll see what happens, right? Like, this is the end of the podcast. Now we're going to talk about, content. All right, guys.
No, seriously. Thanks for having me on. I could talk to you for 4 more hours, but
yeah.
All right. We've been at it for about 2 now. So.
Hey, I'm always down to talk.
There's definitely things we didn't touch on. But.
And hey, that's why we're going to do the live Power Hour.
Yep. Live Power Hour. I can be a repeat guest.
Absolutely.
I can come and do weekly hits.
Yep. All right. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.